What's going on, everybody? It is the WTW podcast. I am SuperSpan, aka Mike, here with goldenarms, aka Julian, representing our favorite baseball teams here who's playing today, the Cubs and the White Sox. So this is the part 2 to our 2010s video. Part 1 was about a couple weeks ago. But, yeah, anything you want to say before we get started?
Just want to say that thank you for those who's supporting the new channel, WTW Podcast. You know, it's really great to have our own channel just to branch out on, I can't wait till what the future holds for us.
And if you guys could make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, all that stuff helps out a great deal. In the 2015-16 season that I sort of wanted to talk about was Nikola Jokic getting drafted during the Taco Bell commercial. That's just a little cliff note there. Not really much else to say about that other than he's a two-time MVP, NBA champion, absolute freaking beast. Interesting off-season topic is DeAndre Jordan signing with the Mavs, but then infamously going back to the Clippers with a little convincing from Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, sort of locking him in his house and everything. Dude, I will never forget that, because when he signed with them, for some reason, I was actually hyped, man. I loved DeAndre Jordan, big defensive player. Like I always say, I'm a huge fan of anybody that plays like that. And he was exciting. And so when he went to the Mavs, I mean, when you really think about it, it didn't make a whole lot of sense, because Dirk was about to retire in the next 2 seasons or something. But I remember putting him on the Mavs in 2K, and I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of fun, blah, blah, blah. And then, he's going back to the Clippers. Dude, I've never seen anything like that.
It was wild, dude, because from what I remember, everybody on the Clippers was on Twitter essentially just saying we're going to go meet up DeAndre Jordan, a bunch of emoji and a bunch of tweets.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, JJ Redick, and they essentially just barricaded themselves with DeAndre Jordan telling him, just come back. That was pretty wild. It was pretty funny. Just
peer pressure at its finest.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, he got paid his money, and they still had relative success, even though they couldn't get out of the second round.
Yeah, right, exactly. Man, Steph Curry becoming the first only unanimous MVP. Dude, I just remember, was this the year he also went 50, 40, 90? Imagine.
I believe that's why. I think that's why he got the unanimous. On top of being on the team that won 73 games.
Yeah.
Dude, that was crazy.
This wasn't the birth of Steph Curry, because he won the MVP before, right? The year before.
Yeah.
So, but dude, I mean, it's just absolutely insane to think about where he started to where he is now. I will never forget talking to my classmates in high school in 2013. Oh man, did you see this guy Steph Curry? He's really killing it. He's starting to, become really good and blah, blah, blah. He's starting to, stay healthy and shooting all these threes, and he's freaking absolutely changed the game of basketball, obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like I said in the last video, who would have thought his rise would come this fast and this out of nowhere, A small point guard like that, literally changing the game. You couldn't go to any rec center, any park, any blacktop, anywhere without having that one kid chucking up 30-foot shots.
Yeah, speaking of Steph Curry and the Warriors, dude. I mean, this was the year they went 73-9. Don't mean a thing without the ring, but still never thought
I ever see a team even crack 70, let alone beat the Bulls record.
Right. I mean, they didn't even get double-digit losses, dude.
That's sick, dude. That is sick.
Absolutely just scary is that? I mean, when they started off, 25-0? Was it?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Was that
they started out about 20. 25-0. I want to say, yeah. I think Milwaukee was the one who cracked the streak, right?
Or was it 18-0?
Somewhere. It had to have been 20.
Something like that. Something insane.
I think it was over 20 because they beat the Rockets winning streak, I believe. I remember the 07-08 Rockets had a 22-game winning streak. I think they broke that record by a couple of games.
It might have been 25-0 then. Let me double check. But dude, either way, I was one of the people that legitimately was like, yeah, dude, they're probably gonna go 82-0. Like, there's no shot that they like cool down, and to their credit, they didn't.
I remember back then because obviously being in Chicago, a lot of Bulls fans were just like, oh no, they're gonna break the Bulls record. But I was one of those where it's like, let's finally see some like records being broken and shit, you know? Like, why are people so against history, especially if like stuff are meant to be broken? I mean, Westbrook got average a triple double, and no one thought that was ever going to happen again.
Right.
And then here we are with the Warriors winning 73 games. Like, shit, let's just appreciate like the history being made, you know, like instead of just dogging them. Even though, like, yeah, at the end of the day they didn't get the ring, but shit, man, you can't knock that accomplishment. 73 regular season wins, that's crazy.
Yeah, they went 24-0.
24,
and then
they beat it by
the
2
Bucks
games.
24-1.
But technically, we want to go a little more technical on the numbers. They won 54 straight games dating back from the previous season.
Dude, I forgot about that completely. If I ever even knew that, I wouldn't.
Says here the longest winning streak of consecutive home games in Golden State Warriors history is 54, which spanned between 2014-15 to the 2015-16 season. That's insane. So the hiring of Fred Hoiberg, what do you think? How, in hindsight, like what did you think of the hiring, and what did you think of that whole like team in general, you know?
Well, dude, I'm still pissed that they got rid of Thibodeau. I don't think they should have ever gotten rid of him. That was a stupid move. With that being said, I don't think I'm with you. I know you always say that Hoiberg didn't get a fair shot. I agree. They started rebuilding the year after they hired him, right?
Yeah, 2 years after.
Or 2 years after.
It was the 3 alphas, literally the following season.
And then they traded D Rose, which we'll get into more of that, but
yeah. Then after we get into this year's finals,
the next season, and then they totally go the opposite route of what we thought they were going to go. They have Jimmy Butler sign Rondo, sign Wade, no shooting. The 3 alphas, like this, none of those players play the way Fred Hoiberg was brought there to, instill in that team.
Just the inconsistency with that front office with Garpax. I mean, what they should have done is just rebuilt that season. If you're going to get rid of Tibbs, you might as well just blow up the whole team.
Right.
Otherwise, run it back. You clearly knew what you were missing. You were missing a little more shooting. In my opinion, it was a little more shooting. It's just, and knowing who's the leader on that team, because Rose and Noah were still there, but clearly Jimmy Butler was the player on the rise in 2015 and 2016. Because 2016 they started clashing, Butler, Noah, then Freddie, and everybody else that was like new there, and then the ones that were there before. It was like I just remember reading a lot of clashes like that, because at one point Freddie Hoiberg benching Joakim Noah, having him come off the bench, and Noah had no clue as to why he was doing that. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, like that team just had no direction.
Yeah. It was weird.
They try to go with like a soft reboot with hiring a coach, but you can't just move on from a coach like Tibbs, especially with all the success you had. Like come on, you can't go from like a coach that's got you to the conference finals and consistently gave you playoff berths every year to a guy from fucking college, Right. Like that should have been the time to like fully blow up the team. If you're gonna trade Rose, trade Butler. If you're gonna trade trade Gasol, trade everybody. Like why are you thinking oh, if the Warriors fire Mark Jackson and they hire Steve Kerr, well, maybe that'll work for us. Like, nah. I mean, I was on that line of thinking too. It's like maybe the Bulls do need a new voice. Maybe Fred Hoiberg will bring that Steve Kerr-esque energy to the roster.
I wasn't even super opposed to them signing Hoiberg. Another huge headline this season, Kobe. His last season, his farewell tour, final game, rest in peace. He retired. He scored 60 points in his final game, dude.
Do you remember that?
Oh, my God. I remember exactly where I was. I was talking to my friend. Shout out to Steez. We were talking on the phone. We're like, oh, my God, if he gets 50 points, I'm going to freak out. Oh, my God, if he gets 60 points, I'm going to freak out. And, I mean, lo and behold, he scores 60 points in his final game. You know, did the Jazz let him get it? Maybe. You know, they were fighting for a playoff spot, so it's like, you know, maybe they weren't. But it's like, I feel like they were kind of just – but that's beside the point. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Kobe or Lakers fans or anything like that. Because either way, dude, that was 60 is 60. Like, dude, that was cool to see. The shots he was hitting, it was undeniable that they were difficult shots. Maybe not every single one of them, but he was hitting difficult shots. It was one of the most fun basketball games I've ever watched in my life.
Not bad, man.
Like, no doubt.
It was amazing. I remember just flipping back from TNT. I think they had it on TNT and ESPN because the same night of Kobe's last game, it was the same night as the Warriors breaking the single season record.
Oh,
so I kept switching back from between games, but obviously I stuck around with the Kobe game because I mean I don't know who the Warriors were playing that game, but the victory was already in hand. Like that win was a foregone conclusion. But the Kobe one, my lord, dude, like you said, just hitting every shot possible, vintage Kobe Bryant on his last night. Like it made me think if he was really retiring or not, because dude, you just dropped 60 points in your last game.
You imagine he just gets on the mic, he's like, yeah, so I'll come back another year.
Right, like
even though you guys are rebuilding.
Like
yeah. Yep. But on to the playoffs, man. I mean, nothing super interesting other than the Thunder choking a 3-1 lead to the aforementioned Warriors. Dude, I mean, it's one of the biggest memes ever. We all know what happened the following offseason,
which we'll get into in depth because I really want to hit you with some facts that I dug into and just that offseason in general. But go ahead, proceed.
Yep. And then in the finals, another crazy 3-1 comeback. LeBron and the Cavs come back from 3-1 to beat the Warriors, and then LeBron with the Cleveland, this is for you. Dude, I mean, that was kind of corny, but dude, the series was just freaking absolutely insane.
Game 5, dude, when both Kyrie and LeBron went for 40 points each. That was crazy. Like, I've never seen two guys just single-handedly carry this squad to a championship. Like, that's why I said in the last video, like, had Kyrie not gotten hurt, they probably would have beat him in 2015 too. With Kyrie and LeBron. Bro, Matthew Dellavedova played at a high ass level. You don't think Kyrie would have just been like at half of Dellavedova's level? That's like Kyrie in his sleep right there. Like he would have gone crazy. But
no doubt. Dude.
But it was that game and then the infamous was it game 5 that Draymond was suspended for crotch shotting LeBron?
I think so.
I think it was it was game 5 then. So it was the crotch shot in game 4, which led to game 5 and their, staying alive. And then game 6 is when, and then game 6 is when the wheels just started to fall off on the Warriors, dude. You saw Steph Curry getting blocked and swatted. The referees were just swallowing their whistles every time the Warriors went up to the lane. To the point where Steph Curry just threw his mouthpiece at a random fan. Like
I remember that.
It got really heated in Game 6. Aisha Curry was like saying, "Oh, this game was very suspect. Why it's probably rigged or something." Like it was just that crazy.
Yeah.
Then that Game 7, which I'll never forget because I had a wager going on with one of my buddies at Jets Pizza. Shout out to Jets Pizza. They they had the Cavs and I had the Warriors because I was like, man, they won 73 games. You don't think they're gonna fucking show out, bro? I lost $50 because the Warriors couldn't win one freaking game. And what a game it was too. I was out like out in my routes. I listened to it on the radio, but that moment when, someone turned the ball over, got a steal. Iguodala's running up for the layup. Bah! Get out of here, dude. Yeah. LeBron James with the game saving
James
with that fucking block, dude. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Because I'm just, damn, man. He went from one side of the court all the way to the other side and just swatted that shit.
I remember that too, man. Like, that's one of those things that, like, I'm so glad I was watching that game live.
I heard it, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah, like just consuming the game live.
Right, man.
Like, it's one of those iconic moments that you're so glad that you were there when it happened, or not there, but you get what I'm saying.
Like, you were able to like listen or watch it live as it was happening. Like, it's just so much different, so much different.
Right.
Like the drama of that series, dude. The drama of like Cleveland breaking their 80-year curse of not winning a championship ever.
Yeah,
like, who knows?
Like that, right.
Who knows? Whatever curse they had going on, But it's crazy.
But it's sick. Well, the next off season had its fair share of interesting topics. The most interesting is Kevin Durant snaking his way to the Warriors after choking the 3-1 series lead, as we mentioned, in the Western Conference Finals to the Warriors. One of the most epic moments in NBA history. Honestly, if you ask me, the most interesting, craziest, whatever moment in free agency history. Kevin Durant just going to the Warriors, absolutely shocking the world. Like, I mean, I know everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we can see it happening. It's gonna blah 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 blah." But like, in all reality, I was like, "There's no way. They already have Steph, Clay, and Draymond. How are they gonna get KD?" And sure enough, they go and get him. Absolutely insane.
Let me tell you something. That whole 2016 offseason, crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it was like people say it's possible for the Warriors to get KD, but it was possible for every team to get KD. That 2016 offseason was the year the salary cap boost went up substantially. Crazy. Like, if you look it up right now, you'll see a bunch of average freaking players like Timothy Mozgov, Luol Deng, Alan Crabb, Matthew Dellavedova, like a bunch of random players getting
those guys.
Getting the fucking bag, dude. Like, all these players got a bag, but at the end of the day, it fucked all the teams up because it really screwed them out of, like, it tracked them into essentially poison pill contracts. Because they had all this money to spend because of the new cap space or whatever the TV deal that they had going on, but teams got all this money and they just splurged it on everything. But like I said, they were giving money to like Miles Plumlee or like who else? Who's that guy that was on the Heat?
Deion Waiters?
Not Deion Waiters. He was like Tyler Johnson.
I know who
Tyler Johnson, he was getting a bag, like, and a WNBA player was clowning him because, like, who is this guy? Why is he getting a max contract? Like, just crazy amounts of money being thrown at these average freaking players, dude. Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. It was like, and then here's the Bulls throwing money at Rajon Rondo and Dwayne Wade.
Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double, winning MVP. having those crazy battles against the Warriors, going head to head with KD, literally.
Oh yeah, their first matchup against each other, that was intense.
Yeah,
they were going head to head, headbutting each other essentially, just trash
that
talking.
was one of the coolest things to watch, man. I think didn't the Warriors kill them though, or am I wrong? Or
I know the Thunder took a game from them. It might have been that one, the one in OKC.
Yeah, dude, the cupcake game. Oh my lord, man, that was. Then the Warriors went on to beat the Cavs 4-1 in the finals. Kevin Durant hitting the dagger in Game 5. Just, I mean, who didn't see that coming?
I mean
honestly,
shoot, that whole playoffs was essentially the most boring playoffs. In my opinion, I thought that was the most boring playoffs. Each conference, both the Cavs and the Warriors swept through their conferences. I think the Warriors only lost one game, and that was to the Cavaliers in the finals. Nobody's gonna say they didn't see this coming. Of course, the Warriors are gonna win the title. They got Kevin Durant, adding him to a 73-win team. Like pretty much from this year all the way to the 2019 season, there's no parity in the Western Conference. You essentially knew who was making the finals out of the West.
Doesn't this make you feel so angry? It makes you relive all the anger of, this mega team getting formed and then 50 straight seasons of Cavs versus Warriors in the finals. It was just insane. I mean, it was fun to watch, but it was just kind of annoying because...
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, a lot of teams in the East were just not ready yet. Like the Celtics, they just weren't ready yet. The Milwaukee Bucks are still years away. The Raptors they just could not handle LeBron.
Yeah.
Who's another team? What's another team? Shit. Like there were just a lot of the East teams that are good now, or like won a championship after LeBron left the Eastern Conference.
Even.
The Sixers, yup. Like a lot of them just weren't ready to compete at the NBA Finals. Like they couldn't even beat LeBron. They couldn't even beat LeBron in the finals, in the playoffs. What makes you think they're going to beat the Warriors?
Right, exactly. We got 2017-18. Woo! Jimmy Butler traded to the Timberwolves on draft night for Lauri Markkanen, which was the 7th pick, Zach LaVine, and my absolute boy, Chris Dunn.
Take us back. What was your initial reaction when that happened?
So I was trying to avoid every notification from Bleacher Report, leaving because I was at work at that time. And when I was waiting for my ride, some guy walked by. He's like, "Hey, you're gonna be pissed," and I knew what he was talking about. I was like, because I was excited for them to trade Jimmy. I was like, man, I can't wait to see our return. Like, it's gonna be great. Which it was a solid return in my opinion.
Hold that
hindsight.
Hold that thought, but keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just remember hearing that, and I'm like, oh god, like what was it? Like was it terrible? And in my opinion, if we were to keep Lowry, it would have been different. But I don't know. At least we got one guy out of it that we kept.
Yeah. So you mentioned that, the return was solid, but if you recall, the Celtics were inquiring for Jimmy Butler.
I didn't even. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Peep your phone.
Yeah.
You think now that was a decent return? But
oh, that makes me so mad.
Boston was ready to trade the 2016 and the 2017 picks for Jimmy Butler with the Timberwolves.
And then Chris Paul traded to the Rockets. Dude, that was cool, man, because I was a huge James Harden fan at the time. Seeing him finally get some really good point guard help was really cool. I mean, that team was a solid team, man. I mean, even more than that, they were a good team.
Yeah.
But I mean, they just couldn't do it. They just couldn't make it to the finals, man.
They were right there. They were
so close.
They're right there. We'll get to it when we get to it. But overall, that Rockets team was, man, they were godly. They were number one in the Western Conference, shooting at a ridiculous clip from 3-point land. Like, you thought the Warriors innovated with 3-point shooting. You should look at that Rockets team.
Oh man, honestly. But yeah, I mean, moving on, we got DeMarcus Cousins traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. Dude, I was excited for that team. I'm not gonna lie, that was my team.
That was my squad on 2K. Dude.
Nasty. You could not beat them in the paint. If they if DeMarcus didn't get hurt that season, I feel like they would have been a lot better, man. That was and they were friends too. They were boys. They had that connection.
That would have been that Warriors killer though, right there, because they had no answer for either one of those guys. Like Draymond's
a solid squad back then, man.
Right. Draymond was gonna check probably Cousins, but who's gonna check Davis? You know.
Right.
I know it's not in your notes, but that's another thing that happened this season. Kawhi Leonard missing essentially the entire season for the San Antonio Spurs and never playing for the Spurs ever again.
Oh, man.
Yup.
Yeah, I missed that.
Bro, but the whole situation just reeked of like when Derrick Rose's ACL thing happened. Because and I have it firsthand from family here because I asked him, like, yo, why y'all shit on Kawhi Leonard? You know he's like the best player you guys had since Tim Duncan. He's like, nah, he's not loyal. He's not this and that. I'm like, what do you mean? Because he didn't want to play this season? He's like, yeah, because he faked his injury. He faked it. I'm like, bruh, are you serious? That's what the fan base thinks. Like San Antonio Spurs fans think that he faked his injury because they were like, oh, well, Tony Parker had called him out on it. I was like, well, that's why he's not on the team anymore. Because the quote that they were saying about Tony Parker, he was like, oh, I had a quad injury similar to his, probably even worse. And I still fought through it and came back or whatever. Like,
did he say that before he got traded, before Kawhi got traded, or after?
That happened during that season.
So it was before then.
Yeah,
Dude, it's so shitty.
Because that whole season, they were like, San Antonio was trying to get a hold of him, and they were saying like, yo, you're good to play. And then Kawhi's people and him were just like, nah, we want to get a second opinion. Then the Spurs were like trying not to get him the second opinion. Then he got it anyways, and that doctor told him, nah, you can't play right now. You're not good. And the Spurs were like, you know, just trying to be scumbags about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, as much as Kawhi didn't want to be in San Antonio, he had to recognize, like, yo, I'm winning here, so I guess I'll suck it up if it means I'm winning championships in San Antonio. But that might have been the last straw right there. Like, how are you going to throw your best player, your finals MVP, under the bus like that?
Right.
Especially a franchise like San Antonio. Like, damn, bro, I thought you guys were a little more classy in terms of that, but no, I guess it's the Spurs way or you're out type of shit, you know?
James Harden winning the MVP, which was super dope, and leading Houston to 65-17 when they almost beat the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. But as we mentioned before, Chris Paul, he just decides to get hurt. What the heck, man?
He pulled his hamstring in Game 6, but also in Game 7, they fucking missed 22 3-point shots.
Right. You're right. Yep, you're right.
So Houston still had a chance. Even without Chris Paul, or at least like a hobbled Chris Paul, they still had a chance. But for God's sakes, why are you taking 22 threes when you can't make one? Get to the basket, my guy.
Cubs are going to win 5-3, calling it now. Yeah, and then the Warriors went on to sweep the Cavs in the finals. Kevin Durant hit the same shot in the same spot, bars, in Game 4. Nothing else you could really say about that. That series was...
Honestly, you're wrong. There's two things you could say about that series. One was LeBron's Game 1 50-point game.
Don't care.
And then and in the same game, J.R. Smith having his Hennessy moment.
Oh, yeah!
Getting the rebound, dribbling out the clock even though they were down one with like...
He thought they were... Did he say he thought they were up?
They were up. He thought they were up one. Yep.
What an idiot. And then LeBron signs him in freaking Los Angeles. Like,
Hey,
why?
they won a ring, dude, in the bubble. JR
Oh, you're
redeemed
right.
himself.
My bad. Sorry.
JR's a two-time NBA champion. Don't disrespect him. But anyways,
Right.
not only
He was good.
Yes.
I mean,
He had that-
aside, J.R. Smith was good.
he had that one moment, and that's unfortunately what he's going to be known for the rest of his career now.
Big time.
Like for like
And that
you.
nasty dunk in Denver.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah. But on top of that, like that whole blunder that happened, the Cavs still had a timeout. So it was on the bench and coaching staff too that fucked that up and was like, oh wait, we had a timeout. Don't tell LeBron that. Don't tell LeBron that. You know, because it's like, bro, like just that whole sequence of events was just outrageous. For one, Kevin Durant not getting a rebound over J.R. Smith, George Hill missing the free throw to begin with, and like just everything just. And I remember watching that game because I was vacationing in Mexico and I saw game one. And I could not believe it. I was like, bro, I was more mad at J.R. Smith. I was like, bro, you ruined LeBron's 50-point game. Like, god damn, man. And that was the most points in a finals game up to that point.
Yeah.
But that whole playoffs in general, dude. Let me give my flowers to LeBron James. Because that 2018 playoffs made me like a fan. Like a legitimate fan of LeBron. Because that motherfucker just went crazy. The buzzer beater against Indiana. Granted, they won 7 games, but he dragged that Cavaliers team to beat the Pacers in 7. Then you got the LeBronto series, just an absolute devastation of the Raptors, getting swept out of the second round. Then that epic ass Boston series where it felt like LeBron was Thanos, dude, and he just went in there and destroyed that young Celtics team that's currently still constructed as is right now to this day. But like, dude, that was just insane. Like I've never seen LeBron just go that apeshit. Like there was one play in particular in Game 7. LeBron's on the break. He's like going up, and Markieff Morris is like holding his ass. He's like he's intentionally following him and holding him. Nope, don't care. LeBron just laid it up, and that was it. I was like, oh my god, dude, that was the craziest shit I've ever seen.
That's dude. That's some like Thanos.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was like the only thing that really stood out in that 2018 playoffs. That in the LeBronto series where he was just hitting fadeaway shots after fadeaway shots, like he was just out there by himself, bro. He was like screwing around with that whole team, and it was just it's like you on 2K whenever you just go left.
Shout out to the 3 people who understand that reference.
Yeah.
2018-19 goes to the Lakers, man. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was crazy, man. It was probably the second most polarizing free agent decision, like since Kevin Durant going to the Warriors.
Really? How so?
Just because, I mean, LeBron going to the iconic Lakers, I mean, everybody saw it coming the entire year, but like to see it actually unfold to me was crazy, man. And they like hardly had anything in place besides, I mean, they had the young guys, but this was before they traded for AD or the year before or whatever. But it was cool, but it was still shocking to me, honestly.
To me, what I remember hearing was, why the Lakers? Because what have the Lakers done other than, have their own homegrown talent, which, and, maybe in hindsight, I'm in the minority of that, but it would have been nice to still have Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, like all them guys, still would have kept that core around,
And
we all know what broke the internet in that offseason. DeMarcus fucking Cousins going to the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh my god, bro! Dude. Let me tell you. I was out with some chick in Chicago, and when I saw that, she fucking I was flipping out. I was like, no fucking way did this just fucking happen.
Yeah.
And she was looking at me like, what's going on? DeMarcus Cousins went to the Golden State Warriors, and she just looked at me like, Just sat back.
That's how my fiance reacted. I was freaking out in IKEA when OBJ got traded to the Browns.
But yeah, dude, that was
scoring like 2 touchdowns.
Granted, he was coming off an Achilles injury, but dude, what a sight to see on paper. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and DeMarcus Cousins. That's some straight up my team roster right there.
Honestly, like, oh man, I remember being so mad because not long before that there was that viral video of DeMarcus Cousins flipping off the fan wearing the Warriors jersey, saying "fuck the Warriors," blah 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 blah, or "fuck Golden State," and then a couple years later he's a fucking Warrior. It's like, are you like, what? Kawhi Leonard getting traded to the Raptors,
which was crazy for
and
Raptors
that saga
fans
that we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, man.
Had to sacrifice the man behind you, but hey, you know,
yeah,
they ended up with a championship. I mean, you gotta feel for DeMar, dude. He was there since the beginning, you know, and essentially like, all right, we're gonna trade you, and then they automatically win the title. Like,
right.
As soon as they ship you out of town.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the playoffs, dude. I mean,
okay. Me and Vic, shout out Vic. We had a fucking wager that entire playoff, and I have a text message. I'll probably post it somewhere on the video.
Me too.
But I have a text message that said, I got Warriors, I got Raptors going all the way. Don't at me. And that was April something, and like a week before the playoffs. Yup. Just
that's actually a pretty bold statement.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah. I had them going because I believed in Kawhi, dude. Kawhi was just that good to me. Like I've always been a Kawhi fan since the 2014 finals, and just his style of play and just his demeanor was just very Derrick Rose-like, very stoic, very quiet, but he can kill you on the court, you know. And
man, honestly.
Yeah. That whole playoff was just shit, man. Like, you got the 76ers and the Raptors, that epic-ass series. The 4-bounce buzzer beater.
Yeah.
And then the fucking...
it's just bong, 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 boom. And then Joel Embiid ended up crying. That was crazy, man.
Yeah, man. That was...
just absolutely crazy. Dude, and then shout out to Giannis winning MVP that year. Dude, I was so happy for him, man. And I'm still happy that he's had his continued success because he was one of those guys that's like one of the very, like, not few raw prospects that end up making it. It does, because it does happen a lot. But, like, he was one of the best raw prospects of all time. He was like, what, a late lottery pick? And
yeah, he was 13th, I believe. Yep.
Yeah. So and he just put on all that muscle, worked on his game, and dude, he's one of the most fun players to watch, if you ask me. Jimmy Butler, man. Oh, we didn't even talk about Jimmy Butler with his practice with the Timberwolves, man.
Oh yeah, for real, man.
I mean, everybody knows about that, but like, we got to talk about that real quick before we move on. Sorry about that. That was my fault. But, dude, you effing need me. He took the third stringers and beat the starters while simultaneously putting up the 2 biggest middle fingers in NBA history. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but like, dude, talk about a monumental moment in recent NBA history, man. I mean, Jimmy Butler literally screamed at the owner, "You effing need me." And he just walked out of there after beating the starters with the third stringers. That, if I wasn't a fan of Jimmy Butler before that, I was after that. Because how could you not be a fan of him after that? It was absolutely insane. Then he got traded to the Sixers. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So cool, man.
Enough said, dude. I mean, Jimmy Butler's a cold-blooded motherfucker. That's all I can really say, dude. I mean, Don't fuck with him. Don't fuck with him, bro. Which is a great segue to get into the final season of our video. The 2019-20 season, Jimmy Butler goes to the Miami Heat. Well, he was traded to the Miami Heat. I don't know how it went down. I think they got Josh Richardson, the 76ers did. I just remember one player out of that.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
But the perfect player to go to the perfect team. It was the yin and the yang when it came to that signing.
Match made in heaven, man.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, that season was crazy altogether, though. That was the year COVID shut down the entire season, man. And then they ended up resuming it, what month did they resume it? Like July?
Yeah, it was around 4th of July week. They started having those like little warm up games in the bubble. Which
Dizzy bubble.
Which to me,
who was born then?
Which to me, I think it was the best basketball I've ever seen, dude. I'm in the minority of like, you don't really. To me, I don't think you need fans. Yeah, you can feed off the fans' energy, but like, man, you knew which teams were just locked in basketball wise.
Touched over this. I mean, I kind of mentioned the Heat losing to the Lakers in the finals there, which honestly, man, that was cool. I'm not gonna lie, like that was cool to see LeBron get a championship for Kobe. R.I.P. Kobe again.
Yeah, I don't think the NBA scriptwriters couldn't have done it any better. You know, Kobe Bryant passes away and the Lakers win the championship. So, like,
dude, absolutely crazy, man. It was cool, man. And then AD got his championship. I don't care what anybody says, man. Shout out to AD from Chicago.
Yeah.
Got his championship.
Yes.
I don't care, man. Like that's huge. You see a lot of superstars not getting championships nowadays
and getting roasted for it.
Right, like Allen Iverson, James Harden, Melo.
Just want to say a lot of people like to discredit that Lakers championship. Like I said, that bubble was probably the best competition, the best like basketball like we've seen.
And they'll tell you that. The players will tell you that.
Right, because they were all like the Denver Nuggets in that playoff series. Twice they came back from a 3-1 deficit. Twice in 2 consecutive playoff series. That's like they were freaking locked in. Both him and both Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell battling out, each of them dropping 50-point games at each other. Like
each other after the game,
right.
In the fucking backyard or whatever.
Right. Just I don't know, man. Like I just don't like when people say it wasn't. There's an asterisk. It's the Mickey Mouse Championship. Like nah, dude. I mean, all the teams had the same route to get to the finals. The Lakers, obviously, with a veteran team, with LeBron James, who's a basketball freak. Like you put him in a resort for 3 months, just playing straight basketball. You don't think he's gonna win a championship like that?
Right, exactly. That's a great point. Actually.
So it's like, to me, fuck all those people that say, "Oh, there's an asterisk to that championship." No, to me, that was the best playoffs I've ever watched. You know?
Yeah, dude, it was fun.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna cap off this 2010s review here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, please like and subscribe, share the video, comment what you guys want to see next. We've got a few videos locked in the chamber here, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. We enjoyed making it for you guys. A lot of work was put into this. Yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace out, y'all.